Hey, you guys, what's up? It's Mr. March, and we're back with some more Midsummer Night's Dream. So, Act 3, Scene 2 is one of the longest in the play. So, definitely something that we're going to break up into a couple of parts here. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the spoiler here right up front and tell you that we are going to walk right up to some Jerry Springer level action, and then I'm going to cut it off and leave you with the cliffhanger for next time. So you're welcome in advance. But this, in my opinion, is the play. Act 3, Scene 2 is where it's at. This is, to me, hysterical. So, it starts off, you got Oberon, king of the fairies, and it's just a scene where he's kind of pacing around in the forest by himself, and he's kind of talking to himself, wondering if his wife Titania is awake yet. And while he's doing that, he's like, "Oh snap! Here comes my assistant Robin." And so Robin Goodfellow, the puck, comes in, and Oberon asks, like, "What's up? What's up? What happened with my wife?" And Robin's like, "Dude, you're gonna love this." And he tells them all about the workers. He calls them mechanicals. That is a term that is used throughout the story for these six blue collar workers. And he explains, Bottom is the stupidest of them. He's the biggest ass. I turned his head into an ass. Your wife woke up. She fell in love with him. Now your wife is in love with an ass. And Oberon's like, "Oh my God, I do love it. That is hysterical. That's so much better. That's better than anything I could have planned. That's better than what I could have hoped for." Also, Robin, what happened with those Athenians? Did you take care of that? And Robin's like, "Yeah, all good. I got it." And, with the whole Shakespearean timing, like right when he asks, "Hey, look who's coming." And Oberon's like, "Oh, snap, here's the Athenian dude now." And in walk Demetrius and Hermia. So we got these two right here, right? Demetrius is still chasing after Hermia. And there's this brief little moment where Puck is like, "Well, that's the lady, but not the guy." And I kind of imagine it as Oberon and Robin kind of look at each other for a second, like, "Wait, what?" But then they gotta put on the invisibility. They can't actually interfere or be seen by these mortals. And so now we have Demetrius and Hermia's conversation. And you'll notice Demetrius sounds almost like Helena does with him. And, so they walk in, and Hermia's just the basically, Demetrius is like, "Why would you push me away when I love you?" Like, we've heard this before. And Hermia is revolted by him. She's disgusted. She's like, "Dude, not only do I not want you, I'm pretty sure that you killed my man Lysander. How else could I wake up and Lysander's gone? You must have killed him. You look like a murderer with those dead eyes, you creep." And Demetrius he's like, more like murdered my soul. Jeez, you might as well kill me being so cruel. You hurts my feelings, you beautiful goddess." Right? Like, he is smitten with her the same way that Helena is smitten with him. And if you've seen this really expert, not kindergarten level artwork I've put together for you, you'll see, right? Demetrius is after Hermia, who's not interested in him. Hermia is looking for Lysander, who is no longer interested in her because he has the potion on his eyes. Lysander is now looking for Helena because of the potion on his eyes, and Helena wants nothing to do with him, and she is chasing Demetrius. Hope you have four people chasing someone else who's not into them. And Demetrius demonstrating a little bit of the thirst that we saw in Helena, and we made fun of, rightly so heartily earlier. And, Hermia's like, "All right, cool, but where's Lysander, you dirtbag?" And she's just laying into him, right? And there's this really cool thing that happens in this conversation. You'll remember the whole bit about Helena telling Demetrius, "Treat me like your spaniel, kick me, beat me, whatever. Just use me like a dog," right? So Shakespeare brings dogs back into the mix. And Demetrius is like, I'd rather feed Lysander's body to the dogs. And then Hermia starts making fun of him, and she's laying into him, right? I mean, she's been ripping on him since the start of this scene. She calls him a dog. She calls him a cur, which is like a rabid dog. So I think what should be noted here is that the comedic irony of Shakespeare using the dog reference, again, bringing it back and just kind of using it in a different form, whether it's, you know, one person saying, treat me like a dog, or another character saying, you're less than a dog. Either way, these people are not looking at each other on the same level. So Hermia's like, did you kill him? You did it when he was sleeping, didn't you, you coward? You're slimier than a snake. Like, she really believes Demetrius must have killed Lysander. She can't think of a reason why he would leave. They're engaged. They're running away together. And Demetrius is like, yo, baby, you need to chill. I didn't kill him, and as far as I know, he's not even dead. And Hermia's like, well, then tell me he's okay. And here's where Demetrius does this thing that kind of like reveals his character a little bit, where he basically says, what's in it for me? Right? Like, it's a combination of that Helena-like thirst with a selfishness where he can't even engage in a conversation without trying to get something out of it, right? Like, this is transactional in nature. And Hermia's line is pretty great, where she's like, what's in it for you? To literally never see me again. In fact, get your gross face out of my sight. Whether Lysander's dead or alive, I don't care. I don't want to see you anymore. It's just like what Demetrius did to Helena just a couple of scenes ago. And, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So Hermia leaves. She takes off. And Demetrius is like, well, she's in a mood. Better let her cool down a while. You know, like they're in a relationship and just had a fight, not like he's a stalker who's chasing after her and she wants nothing to do with him. But I digress. Then Demetrius lays down and goes to sleep. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this. To me, this is the unintentionally funniest part of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Whenever a character is lost, whenever a character is confused, or whenever a character doesn't know what to do in a situation, they just lay down and go to bed right where they are. I think it would be like, to me, the funny part about it is imagining if people did that in just everyday situations, like just play dead when they don't know what to do. But this is a constant thing that Shakespeare has throughout the story. The good news is he does it for a reason, and it allows the magic fairies to intercede in these mortals' lives more easily because they're just laying down going to sleep every time they get confused about something. So Demetrius is asleep, and, you know, we'll take care of that soon enough. So Hermia's gone. Demetrius is laying down for a nap. And Oberon looks at Robin, and he's just like, you idiot. What did you do? You screwed this whole thing up. And Robin doesn't seem to feel too bad about it. He's just kind of like, yeah, that sucks, bro. You know, sucks for them. And Oberon, you know, being a bit more clearly good and not wanting his pranks to do harm in people's lives, Oberon's like, geez. All right, you go find the other girl, Helena. I'll set this guy up with some of the flour. We're going to fix this for these people. And so Robin takes off to go look for Helena, and Robin opens Demetrius' eyes, casts the spell on him. Hey, the next thing that you see when you wake up, you're going to fall madly in love with. So Robin returns, and he's like, hey, look, they're coming, and she's with the dude that I already put the potion on by accident. So, with Demetrius asleep in the middle of the forest, because people like to take naps, Lysander and Helena walk in. Okay. So, just like we had Demetrius chasing Hermia, and Hermia wanted nothing to do with him, now we have Lysander chasing Helena, and Helena wants nothing to do with him. So, Lysander is still trying to convince Helena that he's in love, and Helena does not believe it. and we covered this in a previous video, there's no reason for her to believe it. Lysander's engaged to Hermia. They're running away together. She can't know that a magic spell has been cast on Lysander. Like, there's no way she could imagine that this is actually happening. And she's broken enough where it's like, yeah, I guess it's logical. She would just think that they're making fun of her. So Lysander comes in and he's like, how come you don't believe me? Look, baby, do these tears look fake? And he's crying, right? She's like, you think you're slick. You said the same stuff to Hermia. And she goes into this monologue about, have you ever seen those, like, the scales of justice, right? Where, like, they're weighing things on both sides and you try to even it out. And basically, you talk to me and you sweet talk me. You sweet talk Hermia, and guess what? The scales are both even because they're both empty, because your words mean nothing. You are full of crap to her. You're full of crap to me. I don't care what you're saying. Get away from me. You're full of crap, dude. So, and Lysander's still going. He's like, no, I didn't know better then. I thought I was in love. I didn't, and he's still going on this shtick. And Helena's like, you don't know anything now. Like, you had someone that loved you and you abandoned her. You don't know anything. You're a jerk. And Lysander's like, yeah, but Demetrius isn't into you. He's into Hermia. And right on cue, hey, guess who wakes up? It's Demetrius. And I'm going to go ahead and lean into my dad jokes as I approach dad joke age. Demetrius wakes up and swerving hard to the right. He is now madly in love with Helena. There's this whole, oh my God, wow, holy smoke show. I'm in love. Those eyes. Oh, those lips. Oh, let me get a kiss, girl. And Helena, what do you think Helena thinks is going on? Helena thinks that Demetrius is clowning her too. Right? So Helena's just like, oh, cheese and rice, you gotta be kidding me. Now you're in on it too. You're not real men. You both love Hermia, but you wanna clown poor Helena. Stugats are trying to make me cry. You both ought to be ashamed of yourself. and this is kind of where, like, the petty starts to kick in, and we start ramping up towards Jerry. We're not quite there yet, but we're starting to make our way. And Lysander's like, yeah, not cool, D. You know that we know that you love Hermia, so go on and get Hermia. And leave Helena to me, because I love her forever. And Helena's like, yeah, you're both jerks. I know you're clowning me. You're both jerks. Demetrius is like, nah, Lysander, you keep Hermia. She's yucky. If I ever crushed on her, it was like going on vacation. Hermia's the Holiday Inn. Helena's home, and home's where I'm going to stay. And Lysander's like, nah, Helena, don't believe him. That's cap. See me leaning into those dad jokes? Acting like I know cool kid language. Whoo, how old am I? All right. And Demetrius is like, this escalates it, right? Like, it's almost like in Back to the Future, where nobody can call Marty McFly chicken. Lysander calling Demetrius a liar just kicks Demetrius up to like a 10, right? Like, he is ready to roll. He's like, keep my name out your mouth. You're going to find trouble. You're going to find trouble you don't want. And it's kind of one of those things where I'm going to go ahead and lean back into it. Hey, Mr. Mark's trying to be cool. Demetrius just told Lysander, you don't want no smoke. And Lysander, you don't want no smoke. We're definitely about to get into it. And Demetrius is like, oh, snap. Hey, look, here comes Hermia. And you know Hermia is going to walk in, and things are going to escalate even more. But we're going to have to wait until next time for you to get all of the drama and all of Mr. March's terrible, just god-awful attempts to be young and cool. Well, I guess one of those might be useful to you. Next time, we'll pick up with the action in Act 3, Scene 2.